Good morning everybody and welcome back to another video here on the channel where today this is another Octane's Oracle where if you've been following the channel you know I've recently placed a lot of Bricklink orders and seasonally this sort of makes me really frustrated with the website. Now before we get started, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Bricklink. Bricklink is one of the most useful tools for LEGO fans and for anyone that needs to order parts. In fact, it's pretty much the only way to order parts as eBay's questionable or unreliable or doesn't quite work out how you expected. But that doesn't stop Bricklink being frustrating. I think especially for people in countries outside of the US. Now, I can't speak for any other countries apart from the UK, and just from watching enough coverage of what it's like in the US, you pretty much have every part over there. I mean, feel free to prove me wrong, but it seems like you have a lot more options. But here in the UK, with only 70 million people, we probably have what? Less than a million LEGO fans and therefore even less Bricklink stores. And one of the big things that I find about that is we don't have all the pieces. We really don't. I mean, I've waited multiple years for pieces to appear on Bricklink before, and they just don't. We have a smaller market, meaning things can be more expensive, or there's only one way to get around the pieces, and this leads into a whole slew of problems, which I'm sure that will start to come out once I start talking about this one, because it's one of the very few things in the LEGO world which endlessly frustrates me, and half of that is down to bad experience. Now, for every bad Bricklink seller, there are at least 3 good ones, but without fail, whenever I do a batch of orders, I always have 1 or 2 which don't quite live up to a seller code that I would implement myself if I was an eBay or Bricklink seller. Now, this is more of a moral problem more than anything, and I guess it's just what I believe in when I expect someone to sell me something. But if you're selling parts on Bricklink, for one, I don't believe that you can sell used parts which are practically broken. I believe if you're selling used parts, there's minor play wear, some scratches, a bit of discoloration, bite marks, all of that's fine. But physically having a piece being 5 minutes from broken and then selling that as a used piece is dubious to me, especially when your seller terms and conditions say that they're only supposed to have minor play wear. And it just starts here. I've had orders from companies that say we aim to get back to you for 1 to 2 business days that take 14 days to even do me an invoice. I've had companies which stay unpacked for 3 weeks before they ship. I've had atrocious shipping delays, and I'm not a big fan of our country's postal system anyway, so that's fun. And to top it all off, I've had more mistakes in my orders than I'd like over the years. I think totaling, it's going to sound pitiful, but about 10 pieces out of the lot that I've had, and I really haven't ordered that many pieces. Like, I genuinely cannot have ordered more than 500 pieces on all of my years on Bricklink, mainly because of the situation in the UK, and at least 10th of those have got to either have been under par or been wrong or missing or refunded. It's not great, and it mostly just comes down to not having options. Like, Bricklink has a seller rating system, like goes from 1 to 9, and usually I try to buy from reputable stores because I can trust that they're doing it right and I can check the feedback. However, this is where you get into the biggest problem in England, is if you have a piece that you want, you've only got 1 shot at getting it on Bricklink. Now, for this one, I'm particularly going to use the example of the link ears I purchased a couple of weeks back, and I've been waiting for those to come into England for a year now, since the Friends Advent Calendar from 2020 was made available last September, and no one has parted out those ears until about 2 months ago when 2 people did it, which is just so ironic, by the way. And of course, if it was a common piece and plenty of people were selling them in the country, then they wouldn't be expensive. But this one elf earpiece cost £4.50 and it is nowhere else. And there are only 2 stores selling it, meaning that I also have to buy from those stores. And these stores had a very high postage rate, not many parts that I wanted, apart from the ears, and I think the prices were on the high side. But did I have a choice? No. Now, you could just say, Octane, why don't you go global shipping? And that comes down to the simple question of I don't want to import things, and I also don't want to risk losing things in the post. Now, I think I'm going to have to change this stance very soon because I'm getting increasingly fed up with this. But trying to buy from a country's Lego market, which isn't huge, it is just not fun, and I physically feel my hairs age every time I make one of these orders, because it doesn't just end there. We don't just have limited options from where we buy from. It means that the stores that do sell these rare items can afford to charge through the nozzle. If I was buying this piece from France, I could have paid maybe 70 Great British pence, and then the shipping, which probably would have costed me more in the end, but it still just proves my point of, yeah, it just proves the point. Oh, I hate Bricklink in the UK. And yeah, I keep coming back because every Lego fan needs the parts to replace pieces from sets or fix sets or do mocks. That's another one I'm not looking forward to when I eventually try and do mocks. In real life, that's going to be painful. The other thing that it means is that there are just parts that aren't available in this country. Yeah, no, there are just parts not available in this country that I've never seen. So in particular, I have a mini-scale Millennium Falcon, which I found in a garage sale, and it was missing the nozzle cone and two of the stickers that come with that, and still haven't been able to find the stickers or the pieces on Bricklink. Typical. They just aren't, the pieces just aren't available, and it's really, really frustrating. Or, like I mentioned earlier, only one listing, and therefore I have to go to that store even though there's nothing that I need, and then I have to pay shipping for a £1.50 part, and that's just a waste of money. It's not effective, it's not the best way to do Bricklink orders. If you watch any Bricklink tutorial, they will tell you that exactly. Now, I'm sure there's some people that must disagree with me and find their experience with Bricklink is fine, and generally, when you're ordering really common pieces, Bricklink is fine. But when, like me, your major use for Bricklink is slowly trying to rejuvenate sets from the 70s, you run into another problem. And that is, if they ain't selling the part, you're not getting the part. And if you're not getting the part, well, you can't finish the build, which drives you to new and desperate levels. And, oh, it just becomes complicated again. Every time, it's just not simple with Bricklink. I'm going to be interested to hear some of your guys' opinions on Bricklink down below, actually. I hope that you guys have great experiences with it. I absolutely love the website, as I mentioned, but there are just some things that just really bug me with the website. And it's not even their fault, it's just how the countries are divided. We don't have the largest Lego community in the world. We don't have the best store in the world. We just have what we have, and largely that's okay. It just becomes difficult when you're looking for specialist pieces, as I so often am. Or actually, that's it, isn't it? Then if you want to go for stores that aren't going to mess you around, you go to the big stores, and because there's so few big successful stores in the UK, I can think there's probably like 5 of these giant 9 rated stores in the UK, whereas America you must have like 3 for every state, right? Because I know from watching other people's videos, you have loads and loads of these options to just buy massive bulk lots from stores. Now we don't have many of those, and that therefore this means that the owners of these stores, they know full well that they can charge whatever they want, because they are the go-to place for these parts. Like, if you're a big store in the UK, you can charge whatever you like because people will come running. And I think it is noticeable compared to the global market. They are definitely more overpriced in these large Lego Bricklink stores, but you go to them because you don't want to get well, not scammed, but a bad experience. You want quick, easy service that gets it right majority of the time and has somewhat affordable postage. And that's basically the tribulation with Lego Bricklink in the UK. And the only reason I bring it up is because almost every year I find myself talking to a random member of my family and complaining about it. So I thought instead this time I would complain to you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this little ramble. Actually, I really hope you did. And to be fair, this is awful content. Um, Either way, I hope you got something useful out of this. I want to hear your Bricklink experiences down below, the good, the bad, the ugly, as well as if you guys have the same problem in your countries, or if I've got the opinion wrong in the US and it's exactly like it is here. But one thing I've noticed is that Bricklink here is never simple, and I can physically feel it adding ages onto my body every time. Anyway, hope you consider subscribing and that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.